So, sharing about some prophets for Geula, prophecies. This includes many prophets. There was Daniel, Jeremiah, Elijah, Ezekiel, Zephaniah, Isaiah, Samuel, and other Messianic prophets. So, the four Messianic figures is from the book of Zechariah. Oh, also Zechariah, the book of Zechariah. So, it talks about who usher in the Geula. There's four craftsmen. There's Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef, the righteous priest, and Elijah. Elijah is like the harbinger, however you say it. Mashiach ben Yosef will rebuild the temple and fight the evil forces. He dies in combat if needed with the enemies, and his appearance and need depends on the spiritual condition of the people. And after his death, a period of great calamities will befall Israel. Then God will resurrect the dead and usher in universal peace. Mashiach ben David will reign as the Jewish king. So, in order to connect with Mashiach, it says we have to connect with our own inner Mashiach. So I thought maybe a version of me, the Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. So Mashiach ben Yosef, going in, grieving my previous self, the one that has died or is dying in the war, that deserves eulogizing in some way. So I miss her. We didn't really overlap. I want more than anything to talk directly to her. She was so lively and free and fearless and adaptive and resourceful and innocent and sincere and untouched. The Mashiach ben Yosef died, and the Mashiach ben David now is me. Perhaps, I thought, maybe there's this man in my life, his name is Michael. Perhaps he's like the priest. Perhaps Pinchas, this other man, is like the Elijah. Like, in other words, I'm making it real for me. Like, I'm taking in all the characters on the inside, and then this is how to be able to see it on the outside, according to my lineage. She was looking for the future me to appreciate her, the only one who could. She sacrificed everything for me. She looked in others for me. She couldn't find me in anyone. She died so I could live, and I never got to tell her how magical and precious she was and how cool and special and beautiful. I get afraid that my sacrifices were all for nothing, that there really is no God, and I just made that up. Made up that which is mysterious, and I'll never be able to be innocent again and open my heart and that I'll open my heart and get rejected, and that I'll have heartbreak, and it'll be worse than the last, and I won't be able to handle it with a stable core self. And I get afraid, is there anything to stand on where all the conclusions false? Is there mistakes to walk away from versus cutting the losses? I get afraid that my parents are right about themselves, me, life. I'm afraid of turning into like Lot's wife, Lot from the Bible. She turned into salt. She looked back. From me looking too much in the past. I'm afraid I'm dissociating too much from my past self who birthed me, and I emerged 50 pounds heavier. I hope I'm using the tools right and the ingredients. And I'm afraid that no one I choose will ever choose me, and that I'm rushing people forward too quickly without grace and not accepting them. And yet, until they're less ignorant and unconscious and less annoying the way expert people try to progress me along. I'm afraid that I'm waiting for someone I'll never find or meet. And I'm afraid that I waste too much energy trying to control or change what I can't. And now talking about, in terms of I'm going to speak about triggers. When I get interrupted, I don't feel heard, getting shut down, someone doing something else while I'm talking, cutting me off, feeling what I say doesn't matter, feeling abandoned, worthless because someone neglects or rejects me or doesn't care about me or takes it or leaves it kind of with me like I'm not important or like I'm common, replaceable, or insignificant, having to be interesting or entertaining to be paid attention to, like I'm not enough. When I have nothing to do or no one to talk to, and I feel like I'm a waste of time because I'm lonely and not using the time productively, and I feel like I am or my life is empty because I'm lonely, mainly. Feeling misinterpreted, like I'm not understood, like I'm not seen as who I am, like I have to contort or change in order to be known, grasped, noticed deeply, or appreciated. I want to eat anything and then what would be like the future? What would be the Messianic era for me? I said, you know what? If I'm really making this personal, I did it. So I wrote, stop not having a period anymore, having sexual pleasure whenever I want, not having to shower, brush my teeth, or poop, not having to eat or sleep to function, not eating anything without any pain or weight gain. When I say not have to, it doesn't mean not doing it at all. At all. It just means not needing to, not like if I don't shower, I'm not okay, kind of. I'm having money without having to earn it, never getting attached to anyone, being married, having kids, getting admiration and love and gifts and good words. Listening. So more about Mashiach time. So listening It says we're going to hear the shofar. It's going to be that everyone could hear it. And just to need a little drink, and all I have here is ginger ale. Sparkly. So, listening. So, like, we'll be able to hear. It says Nasa v'nishma. We'll do and then we'll understand. Now we're in the world of action. The next video, I'm going to do the different worlds, God willing. But now we're in the world of action. Then we listen. We will do and then we will hear. So soon we will hear. So I wrote my breath, others' tones, the feelings, my stomach, my heart, my voice, the sounds, the soul, silence, my mind, my body, the music. And to say that it says when we leave exile, we're going to be like dreamers. Like you would think you're not hearing the reality in some way. Before I go into the government and end there, I'm going to share about Shabbos. It says it's going to be an age of Shabbos. So where we're going to have new clothes, makeup. So I wrote, what is Shabbos for me? Like, how are some ways that I could bring Shabbos into the physical world? New clothes, best garments, good food, new jewelry, clean home, washing for bread, blessing, like doing a whole serious meal, going out for meals and gatherings if in the mood or available, no secular reading, like just reading, like learning Torah, no phone, really no electronics, good sleep, enough rest, positive words, praying extra, making kiddush, which is like you drink something with the holy way intentions, putting on some makeup, tweezing out facial hairs, like new beauty products. And then I want to share about now government. So the Beis HaLevi says there's 3 forms of government. Absolute monarchy, where the king reigns supreme and unlimited authority. That would be called like the king of Yeshurun in the Jewish terminology, parlance. 2, a parliamentary state ruled by a legislative body composed of princes and head of people. And 3, a republic where the government is in the hands of the broad masses. These are all based on the verse, chapter 33, verse 5 in Devarim. Hashem became king over Yeshurun. 2, when the heads of the people were gathered. And 3, all the tribes of Israel in unity. So 3 also refers to the pasuk in the Torah, which says, Torah tzivlanu Moshe Merasha Kilas Yaakov. Moshe commanded us a Torah as an inheritance of the congregation of Yaakov. And transmuting like the anger, like, so Aaron, I'm gonna end it a little bit more. Being a complete circuit doesn't mean not needing a signal from the outside as an echo. Anger is like a gift. That energy is all mine. I can be a blessing and help others by feeling my own pain and piece of shitness. Please excuse the words. I don't usually ever talk like that in my videos, but truly feeling that piece of shitness and not projecting it, letting the hate simmer without lashing out lets me see that I do avoid setting boundaries, saying where the person hurt me, where I was reliant. Conserving my energy is my work. 1, tending to the inner fire. 2, settling into unboundedness. And 3, choosing wisely with a focus on nuance. So that 4, I don't deny any of these siphons and leaks. Aaron is Moshe's brother. He was the high priest. He was a peacemaker. So we're talking about peace here. Why do only homeless and addicts? So I wrote, I was angry at God one day. And I wrote, this is like seeing, right? So why do I need to get such a fat, stinky, hairy, blemished vessel? Why do I get user men looking for someone to protect, provide for them? Toxic masculinity like my father. Why don't I have people who can help me and bless me? Why do all the men I loved find it impossible to love me as I am? This is like what I saw. I'm not saying it's real. Why is no one choosing to be there when I'm down, suffering, or broken? Why don't I get invited or helped? Why doesn't anyone love me for me? And why do only the homeless and the addicts see me? This is like anger. And then underneath that is really like, clearly here I'm working with this being the Mashiach spark. We have many layers, but being that spark and being that fully. So protecting and providing for myself, being a soldier of God. I'm indestructible, undesecratable, a divine spark. I'm chosen by my actions. I have magic. I have deep calm, high intelligence, profound perspective, activated godly missions. I am in tune and with a good relationship with the moon. I return to love every time, and I can work with food and sex because I'm not the body. I'm alive. I have higher vision than most. I can see patterns in karma and carry negative energy on my back when I can't go inward, back to undefilement for processing and vitality. I can trust my actions enough to watch them and learn about my animal nature. The body, beast, is enslaved by the ego. Was enslaved by the ego. Having a flashlight going into darkness isn't always appropriate. I don't know what I'll find. There's just the tip of the iceberg because I can get hurt, need supplies, and the battery can run out. Always need backup if I don't prepare properly for my missions. In and out. Go in, shine some light in the name of God, for God's sake, being godly. For God's sake. Destroyer destroys destroyers, and creator creates creators, and sustainers sustain, and the sustainer sustains sustainers. Healers, sustainers, nurturers, mothers, tenders, carers, comforters, support, nourish, foster, feminine, sustain, create. Masculine could be destroy. Female is like the heart, the hips. Masculine is like the mind, the intellect. And each man has a wing partner, female for him. And if someone hostages what is meant for another, it is social stealing. And I look forward to sharing about the worlds, the different worlds. And also we learn about bread, lechem, and what that really means as we move from one era to another era. Be well, have a good week.